But they hired the fucking male models from the WWE, the ones that L.A. Knight escaped and got. What was he, Max Dupree or whatever the? Did you see the male models?
I did see this. I knew they were there because we saw them on one of their other shows, and
oh, that's right.
it's interesting to me they left WWE and said, "Hey, can we find a way to keep that gimmick?" That's the last thing I would have said.
It's like jumping out of a fucking burning building and then setting yourself on fire.
LA Knight ran as far as he could from that gimmick. These guys are leaning in still. They're not even there anymore. They're leaning into the gimmick.
And the M&M collection, it sounds like a candy kiosk at the mall. What is the... But that's why I watched, because they're doing this promo and it's a rotten fucking gimmick, right? But they brought out Rico. Did you see the big reveal on the promo?
I did. Now, did you know about this beforehand?
No.
Oh, because the way you said it was I had to watch it to see this, so I didn't know.
Well, no.
I was shocked when all of a sudden he popped up there.
When I was recording the pay-per-view, I also recorded the pre-show because you never know when somebody's going to meet their untimely end in one of these things. So I wanted to make sure I had all my bases covered. And then I heard about it afterwards, so I actually watched it. Otherwise, I wasn't going to watch unless there was at least some type of, multi-fucking alarm fire or ambulances descending or whatever.
Before you say anything, just a quick recap for fans that may be younger. Rico Constantino was a top star in OVW.
Yes.
Despite the fact that he was older and started late, had a world of talent, and WWE brought him up to the main roster and made him, was he a hairdresser? It was an effeminate manager.
He was Billy and Chuck's hairstylist.
That's what it was.
And with an homage to Adrian Street thrown in there because he was like, well, if they want me to do it, I'm going to do it.
And when they did the big angle where Billy was going to marry Chuck.
Yes.
With Eric Bischoff as the minister wearing a disguise. Yes, this aired on TV. He was their guy. Rico was their best man, or what? I don't know what he was, but
yes, well,
that was the last time we saw him. I guess is the point.
He was the better man. Yeah, and also here was the thing: is Billy referenced it when they were doing the promo earlier in this deal, or before the match, saying, you know what, I know you. You're the one that almost talked me into marrying a guy. And the people sitting there, because it's been 25 years ago, the people sitting there maybe have been going, what the fuck is going on around here?
I missed that episode of Collision.
Yeah. But nevertheless, but Rico, and he's my age, by the way, and still looks like that.
Really?
Because that was the issue when we got him in, was it late 1999, early 2000 in OVW? He was like 38 years old at that time.
He was on the very first ever episode, and maybe the pilot episode of American Gladiators.
Yes.
He was the competitor.
And he's one of like a handful of the competitors that actually they won. And that was the thing, is that we told everybody that he was like 10 years younger than he was, and they still said, oh man, he looks great for his age. He was just a genetic freak. But that was one of the knocks that Danny Davis and I even went to sit down with Stephanie at one of the SmackDowns they did here in Louisville and plead his case, because he was not only an exemplary employee and a tremendous human being, but he excelled at being a babyface. He was a gymnast. He was a bodybuilder. He was a fitness freak. He could do all the flying shit as a babyface, and then tore his ACL. When he came back, we switched him heel, and he was a great fucking heel. And he could do a promo. And his background, he had been a firefighter in Las Vegas, and a police officer, and a firefighter / EMT fellow. He'd been shot 3 times, stabbed twice, hit by 2 cars in the line of duty. And we said all this true shit on TV here. People fucking loved him. And they wanted to cut him. He's too old. I said, look at him. Jesus H. Christ. And then, and finally, they brought him up there and made him the ambiguously gay hairstylist for poor Billy Gunn and his partner, Chuck, what was his name? Columbo?
Chuck Palumbo.
That's not
Palumbo.
Well, that's not what Peter Falk said, but anyway.
Fuck you.
But yeah, so they brought out Rico, and he's going to be the third man in the corner. So
on the pre-show with no prior announcement or any, I mean, not that it would be a big like pop for, oh my God, I got to tune in to see Rico, but just such a random thing to do.
Well, but we'll get to why it was stupid booking wise here in a second when the match comes up. But